News investigation has uncovered some shocking new details on the personal life of American-born radical cleric Anwar Al-Awlaki. And it appears the self-professed man of God has a taste for prostitutes. Al-Awlaki's already been linked to some of the most high-profile terror suspects here in the U.S. in the last 6 months. The list: the alleged gunman in November's Fort Hood massacre, the Christmas Day underwear bomber, and now again the Times Square bomb plotter as well. And Fox News can now report the American terrorist has some other ties.
What Al-Awlaki finds entertaining were the local hookers. The imam is now married with children, but this memorandum for the record from the 9/11 Commission shows Al-Awlaki was arrested twice in San Diego, 1996 and in 1997, for soliciting prostitutes. And there's more.
He was picked up for loitering around a school.
I do know that those were charges, yes, ma'am.
So what was this strip like, 96, 2000?
It was prostitute, 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 prostitute.
Do you remember where he was picked up for soliciting prostitutes in San Diego?
Well, it's not far from the mosque.
This holy man, apparently he was getting lathered up by his own rhetoric and sermons.
Glimmer beneath the flesh.
You saw the mug shots.
Correct. He has a very healthy beard. He's got his glasses on.
Did he really say not far from the mosque?
He did.
Catherine Herridge now live with more. Catherine, this is some pretty salacious stuff.
Well, our team spent 5 months investigating Al-Awlaki's life here in the United States, and it's clear that when he was here, he had a very double life. There were the 2 pickups for soliciting prostitutes in San Diego. Also, he was picked up for loitering around a school. And then there was a separate charge in Virginia for also picking up a prostitute. The FBI had considered prosecuting him under the Mann Act because in this particular case, he took a minor from Washington, D.C. To Virginia. In addition, though, when he came to the U.S. in 1990, he claimed not to be an American, but to be a foreign student, a Yemeni national. And that qualified him for $20,000 of scholarship money that was paid for by the U.S. taxpayer. So it's a capital F fraud for this holy man.
Wow, a minor. Oof. All right, now what about his connection with 9/11?
Well, I think one of the most newsworthy elements of our reporting is that when you look at his life here in the United States, especially through this prism of the last 9 years, what you see is that these contacts with the 3 hijackers, Hazmi, Hanjour, and Almadar, these were not casual connections. They were the 3 hijackers that were on Flight 77 that hit the Pentagon. And we spoke to the executive director of the 9/11 Commission, and he says one of the lingering questions is whether Al-Awlaki was part of a U.S. cell inside the United States for 9/11.
With the upcoming trial of 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, questions remain about Al-Awlaki.
So then you've got 2 theories. Theory number 1 is that all those contacts he had with the 9/11 plotters back then in 2000 and 2001 were innocent, but he just gets radicalized into an Al-Qaeda guy later. Theory number 2 is actually he's with Al-Qaeda all along, and the coincidences are not coincidences.
Does it look like KSM tried to protect information about activities inside the U.S.?
KSM was asked many times about whether there were contacts in the United States, and he always, from the reports we could read of those interrogations, he always seemed to blow smoke in answering questions like that.
And that's really the haunting question, whether Al-Awlaki and 2 others were part of a support cell that was inside the United States. Because if you conclude that he was part of 9/11, and a number of people have said the evidence really now suggests that he probably was, that completely changes how we think about the 9/11 plot. We think about 9/11 as cells coming into the United States, but this suggests that Al-Awlaki was part of a support cell that was already here.
Yeah, I see. That's why you call that like the nugget of breaking news in all of this, because it just puts us in a completely different place.
And it makes a lot of sense as to where he is today. When you listen to that idea, was he Al-Qaeda from the beginning? The answer seems to be from our reporting that yes, he was.
And all that double life stuff. It's
more common than you think, actually, with these sort of internet or digital jihadists.
All right. Catherine Herridge, thank you.